Fred and your ears tortured. It's from the front row with Johnathan T. Rokford.
Oh, Flip, I'm tired. Tired. You know, people's perception of how things should go is fucking ridiculous. No. You know, sometimes people need to think. Like, I should have thought before I made that last bet with you. But it is what it is. What's up, WPA? It's me, Johnathan T. Rokford, back in my shit. Had to take a little break as I felt a little under the weather. You know, losing money makes you sick to your stomach, especially when I gotta give it the flip. Starting off, we're gonna talk about the game changer action when Fat Thomas took on Luna prior to her traveling to Fairfield, Birmingham for her asylum match. And Thomas made sure she got there in a timely manner as he defeated her and then went on to challenge his old nemesis, the Darkstalker. Probably was not a good idea, as the Darkstalker, who was preparing for a U.S. Championship match, was able to defeat and unseat Fat Thomas as our game changer champion, and then proceeded to call out, well, forget to call out anybody. So I helped him out. And he got the Beast and the Badass Eddie Vendetti as his challengers. And the Badass Eddie Vendetti unseated the Darkstalker. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, in our first match, we had a match between Shepard Bane and the Street Fight King. And the Street Fight King was able to defeat Shepard Bane. Folks, you know, it's Mega Week. We didn't have a lot of single matches. Or at least single matches that didn't mean anything but moving up the rankings. Which nobody cares about that shit. But the Street Fight King defeated one of the OGs. You know, I can see this guy moving up. He's gonna probably move up kind of quick. He found himself in some title matches soon. Well, at least number one contender matches. I mean, hey, what he does with that, he did with that. Now, our next match was Captain Mexico versus the Investor. After being scheduled for a tag team match, but then not showing up to help his partner out, it only seemed fitting that the two met in the ring to settle their differences and see if they could put it aside. And the Investor defeated Captain Mexico, which makes you wonder, had he shown up, what would have happened? Now, in our next match, we had an FB Asylum match, folks, scheduled to take place between Luna and the Hartford Whaler Habish. Now, if you know the FB Asylum, the match usually occurs on the basement floor. You know, that way if anybody gets thrown out of a window, no harm, no foul. You're in the basement. But Habish, for some reason, went to the wrong floor right as the inmates were on their walk around time, and he set one of them off, which in turn had a triggering effect, setting off multiple inmates and resulted in him getting his ass whooped. Now, Luna, after a time period, did go up and find him and joined in on the fray. They thought she was one of the patients anyway. Yeah, so she won, but the match never really started. Habish was unable to compete after that. Hopefully, she's done with that. So, I don't know. Yeah, that's the same one Melvin was at. Melvin said he knew a couple of guys that hit him too. Yeah, he said they're no joke. Bunch of crazy motherfuckers. Now, in our first number one contender match, to determine who would go on to face our trios champions, we had the Kingpin JP DiMaggio, the Forgotten One Matty Ice, and the Super Champion King taking on Casper 2779, Brasso, Money, MF, and Mike, the Killer Goons. And the match ended when the Kingpin led the way for his team, as I said, and pinned Casper 2779. I tell you, I was proud of Kingpin. He really carried his team, led the way. We'll see what that team does, as they will go up against Sinister for the trios titles this coming week. Yeah, they're not gonna wait till the next pay-per-view. That's too long. That's like next year sometime. Nope. They're gonna defend them. Since they didn't do it in Mega Weight, they're gonna defend them. So I'd like to know what that team's gonna call themselves. They all got them long names. Now, our next number one contender match was for the Triple Threat Championship. And, which is getting to be a trend, when we have a lot of number one contender matches that need to be done, the booker will sometimes take a liberty and just book these two matches as one-on-one matches, as we only need two names. Well, the first one, Nerkahante versus Lady Assassin, was won by Nerkahante, as Lady Assassin didn't seem to get out the gate right away. Now, the second match, it was scheduled to be Needles Kane versus Crusher LB, and Crusher LB never showed up. So Needles Kane was declared the winner. And he went down and sat on commentary when they did commentary for the next couple matches. Which the next match was another number one contender match to determine who would be facing our tag team champs next. And we had Cats and Corey and Frankie Bones, a put together team, facing another put together team, the Prince of Crime, Delirious, and Quanny Fists. And as always, nobody wants to be pinned by Quanny, and Quanny doesn't like getting pinned either, which is why Frankie Bones pinned Delirious. It was actually a good match. Pretty close. You know, all those guys were just thrown into a tag team match, and they did pretty good. Earned themselves a contender match, so. But Cats and Corey and Frankie Bones will be moving on to face our tag team champs. Then we moved on to our next number one contender match, which was for a triple threat television championship match. And it featured the South Bronx Savage versus the Messiah versus Martel the Carpenter. Just three guys who just always seem to be down on luck. So somebody had to win. Somebody had to have a good day. And it was Martel the Carpenter who picked up the win when he pinned the Messiah. Oh, the irony there. Emotional damage. You know, I saw the midweek one. Yeah, I think Toto said Messiah was going to win. He said Martel wasn't getting pinned. It's ironic that it's Martel that wins by pinning the Messiah. Yeah. Now our next number one contender match was the sponsored athlete Jalen Masters versus Lycan Umbris. And Lycan Umbris picked up the win. Now, if you haven't watched the history between these two, Lycan Umbris got into a habit of calling Jalen Masters a Bitch. Not a bitch. As if he was on edibles. This is straight up bitch. And we figured Jalen Masters would come correct and take him out the title match. And it was close, folks. But like it numbers, is your new #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. I'm a little disappointed in Jay on that one. Talk smack about you, then he beats you and wins. Now, in the match we were kind of really had our eyes on, it was the Master Sean Puff versus Fat Thomas versus Red Death versus DJ Tech in a fatal 4-way to determine the #1 contender to the World Championship. And #1 ranked, Sean Puff picked up the win, pinning DJ Tech. He's finally getting his wish, folks. Going for that world title. Just a matter of who he would face. Let's find out, folks. As we moved on to our title matches, and we had a triple threat championship, which was scheduled to be Draven the Sledgehammer versus Big Mel versus the Standard Lady Assassin, who pulled herself out of the match when her boyfriend, the Blueprint, had to pull out of his match and relinquish his title due to a medical emergency. Now, as far as we've heard, he is home. He is doing well. He'll be taking a week off to make sure he's good to go. As for the Triple Threat Championship, it came down to Big Mel and Draven. And Big Mel picked up the win. Now, folks, with that win, and we're going to have to look back and double check this. So, I'm saying it now. I could be wrong. I doubt it. Big Mel, with that win, and your new Triple Threat champion, can declare himself the first person in WPA to have held every active title in WPA. And I say active for a reason, folks, because there was another title that we got rid of. So, but as far as active titles, Big Mel would be the first person to hit that grand slam of titles. Tag, trios, US, World Champ, IC Champ, Triple Threat Champ. What else is there? Trios Champs. He's held every title. He's hit his goal, and we've been gearing up. We said this over in the Gospel according to Messiah, or whatever, the Gospel of Messiah. We said there was a bunch of people close to doing this, and Big Mel, congratulations. Like I said, we'll double check it, but we doubt we're wrong. Congratulations, Big Mel, Grand Slam champion. And if nobody else does it by the time we hit the anniversary, that's got to be award-worthy performance right there. I'm sorry. Now, in our next match, it was the tag team champions, the agency, taking on Donnie Boy and Money. And I know Money probably regrets that he had Donnie Boy as his partner, because the agency really targeted Donnie Boy. And they retained their titles by pinning Donnie Boy via Texas Hates You pinning them actually. So, and still your tag team champs, the agency, James Altrez and Texas Hate You. So they will be taking on Cats and Corey and Frankie Bones at a later date. I guess we can scratch the team of Donnie Boy and Money off that list of people to challenge. But there is something we would like for Mr. Altrez to clarify for us, as he uses his champion's prerogative. Teams that are put together, Mr. Altrez, and if you could answer this question, release a press statement on this. Does it mean neither one can challenge if they're tag teamed with someone else? Do they have to wait still? The booker wanted me to ask you that question. Not that he really cares what you said, but he thought I'd at least give you the courtesy to explain yourself. Let him know. Now our next match was to determine the television champion and Chrysalis versus badass Eddie Vendetti, our new game changer champion. And Chrysalis denied the badass an opportunity to be a 2-belt holder as he retained his title. Yeah, it's pretty bad. That was a real badass right there, Chrysalis. Hey, but you know, Eddie Vendetti still came out with a title, unsanctioned, but you know. And he's already made his first challenge, too. If you don't know who it is, go look on the post. Now, in our next match, like I said, it was for the U.S. title, and it was slated to be Jackson Ayers versus the Darkstalker versus Tezzeret. Jackson Ayers had to pull himself out and relinquish his title due to medical reasons. So it became a one-on-one match. Lucky for them. And folks, the Darkstalker picked up the win, pinning Tezzeret. It was close too. It could have went either way. It just happened to go the Darkstalker's way. So he is your new United States champion, folks. Ending Tezzeret's bid for now, as he starts his journey to be a Grand Slam champion. Our next match was the WPA Intercontinental Championship, and it was Johnny Rocco taking on Mac Blakely. And folks, that went down to the wire and saw Mac Blakely avoid getting hit with an annihilator and rolling up Johnny Rocco to pick up the win and become your new Intercontinental Champion. Man, he got one good defense out of that. That was a good match, though, folks. I mean, hell, I'm gonna give that one about a 5. Nah, 4.5. No, fuck it. I'm gonna give that one about a 5. There was another one here. The Women's International Championship match. That was another 5. That was a banger. Speaking of which, the First Lady is still your Women's International Champion as she defeated Siren, who put up a tough battle and tested the First Lady. But in the end, First Lady showed her why she is the champ. And in our main event, we had Jermaine Walker facing the Beast for the World Championship. And if you were watching over the page like I was, there was a little back and forth, a call and response. And folks, Jermaine Walker won and retained his title, but the match was somewhat exciting, made by the fact of the back and forth. But you know, no, I gotta say it, Flip, because it just bugs the crap out of me. When somebody chooses to respond to you, that's their prerogative. It's not a late response. That's just when I choose to respond. And you can say it whatever you want, paint it however you want to paint the picture, like they're scared, like you're in their head. Sometimes some people want to get their words together. Some people might want to see which way what they want to touch upon. But in the end, if they respond, they respond. Hell, I told somebody happy birthday, and their birthday was like 2 weeks ago. It was the first time I saw them. But hey, I tell people Happy New Year 10 days after the New Year's started. First time I see them. And I know you're wondering, like, whoa, why do you say that? Yeah, it's because that's people. Some people in here don't like doing video promos. So when they do, or they're not articulate, so when they do a promo, respond to it. Say what you got to say to it, but it being late, nah. It is what it is. That's just my opinion about it, though. And that's all we have, folks. We're tired. We're glad there's no more mega weeks. Year's almost over. Gotta get another good 2 weeks out of us. We're gonna take a vacation. Christmas break. Feel sorry for all you parents out there that do all those kids in the house. As always, folks, don't drink and drive. Hug your loved ones, tell them you love them. And pick up the phone and call that friend that might need to hear your voice. You can be a saving grace in their lives. I'm Johnathan T. Rokford, folks. Peace out. What? No, I'm serious. When I respond to you, I was like, Flip, would you say your money was late when I gave it to you? No. Unless you have a date that you needed to buy, and you told me, hey, I need it on this date. You say, hey, give me my money. I gave it to you 2 months later. It's not late. Gave it to you when I gave it to you. Fuck out of here with that shit. Late response. I mean, come on. Seriously. Some people's ego in this league.
Good day, WPA. Once again, it is I, Philip Alexander Johnathan IV, and I'm here to give you the honor to hear my voice come across your screens. And as always, well, I have my pick for the week. Another mega week in the book. Another impressive performance. My pick for this week, and I won't even sugarcoat it. A hard-fought match against a very tough opponent, resulting in a title. I speak none other than Mac Blakely. Yes, Mr. Blakely, you impressed me in that match. Countering your opponent's moves. Avoiding that devastating annihilator. Yes, you're one little rambunctious chocolate flower pot there, Mac Blakely. So should we start saying that you have indeed not only earned my pick of the week, you little rambunctious flower pot, but you've also earned my deepest respect. Stepping out of the tag team scene, and granted your partner is one tough person as well. Showing that you can achieve single greatness. I look forward to watching what you do with that title, as your next opponent is no slouch. But until then, WPA, I bid you good day. I said good day.